What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey. And today, we're going to cover this NFL Sunday afternoon matchup between the LA Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so this game will kick off on September 29th at 4:25 p.m. East Coast time out there in LA, or should I say Inglewood, California. The line was at one point Kansas City minus 9.5. Over under was at 39. The line has since moved to Kansas City minus 7.5, and the over under set at 39.5. Some places you can still get Kansas City minus 8, and the over under moved up to 40, guys. So there's definitely some movement in this. A lot of action coming in on both sides, but definitely some sharp action had to be coming in on the Chargers for that line to bump down like that to the 7.5, then bump back up, because Kansas City people coming in on Kansas City saying that line is a little too short for them, just so you understand why these lines move. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look into this matchup. So Kansas City Chiefs are coming in here 3-0 after beating the Bengals and beating the Falcons in their last couple times out there. Patrick Mahomes is completing 69.6% of his passes for 656 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, which is very surprising for Patrick Mahomes. Normally, he's not an interception machine like that, but yeah, this year it's kind of like that. He's got young wide receivers. He's trying to get an offense going. This, that, the third. Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy have combined for 369 total yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, while Travis Kelce has 8 receptions. Definitely also a shocker as well, but you know he's going to show up when you need him. The Kansas City Chiefs ground game is averaging 116.3 yards per contest, and Isaiah Pacheco is out for the season at this point in time, or at least until for undisclosed, undetermined amount of time. All right, he does lead the team with 135 yards rushing and 1 touchdown, but defensively, the Kansas City Chiefs is allowing 20.7 points, man. That's 361 yards per game, and Nick Bolton leads the Kansas City Chiefs with 22 tackles, while Chris Jones has a sack, and Shamari Connor also has an interception. So when you're looking at these Chargers, the Chargers beat the Panthers, lost to the Steelers, and now they got Kansas City. All right, they have lost 5 of their last 6 home games. Justin Herbert is completing 67.2% of his passes for 399 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey have combined for 242 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, while Will Disley has 7 receptions. Now, Los Angeles Chargers ground game is averaging 152 yards per contest, and J.K. Dobbins leads the way with 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, the Chargers are allowing 11 points and 267 yards per game. Dalen Henley, all right, leads the Los Angeles Chargers with 28 tackles, and Khalil Mack has 2.5 sacks, and Poona Ford has an interception. Okay, so something you got to understand first when you're dealing with these two teams is definitely the injury report, man. And it all starts with the fact that Hollywood Brown's still out on IR. Isaiah Pacheco is now on IR due to a fractured fibula. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also on IR. So they are depleted at running back right now on their 3rd running back already so far this season. Okay, a guy that they came up with is... Yeah, they just picked him up off the heap. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, he was an undrafted free agent. No one expected him to make the team, and definitely didn't expect to see him out there playing this significant type of snaps and this type of ball. Remember, they did just pick up Kareem Hunt, too, so maybe he'll get some more snaps this week. All right, then when you're looking at the Chargers, Joe Alt's questionable with the knee injury. He missed the previous, or exited the previous contest with an ankle injury, and it's unclear if he'll be able to take the field due to the knee and ankle injury. All right, Joey Bosa, he's going to be out. He's battling a hip injury and not expected to be able to be available for this game. Right, Rashawn Slater, he's out dealing with the pectoral injury. All right, you got to also know Derwin James is suspended. All right, he is facing suspension without pay for 1 game for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players, targeting and all that type of stuff, man. DJ Chark, he's on IR as well, okay, with the hip injury. Chris Rumpf, he's out. You know what I mean? Like these guys are banged up right now. These guys are banged up, and it is very early in the season to be banged up, especially if you're gonna play smash mouth football like Harbaugh wants to. So right now, Kansas City's averaging 25 points a game. That's 6th best in the NFL, and the Chargers are only giving up 11 points per game. So that's the 3rd best in the NFL, right? Yards per play, we're looking at the 8th best defense versus the 15th best offense. They give up 4.7 yards per play, as do the Chargers, and Kansas City is trying to come out there and do what they normally do, be middle of the pack, and give you 5.4 per yards per play. Kansas City converts 35.48% of the time on 3rd down, so that's 21st worst in the NFL. But that kind of matches what the Chargers are going to do to you, because they're only going to allow you to convert 32.5% of the time. That is the 12th best in the NFL against opposing offenses on 3rd down. Then when you look in red zone, Kansas City ain't clicking there either. They're only converting for touchdowns 44.4% of the time, and the Chargers are only allowing a 2nd best in the NFL, 20% red zone touchdown scoring for opposing teams, man. So that's the 22nd worst offense in the red zone versus the 2nd best defense in the red zone, man. Kind of gives you an understanding why these division matchups be so hard. Teams are built certain ways. All right. Then when you look at the Chargers offense versus Kansas City defense, Chargers offense is only averaging 19.3 points per game, and Kansas City giving up 20.7, so that puts Chargers at 17th worst, and Kansas City middle of the pack at 15th. All right, yards per play, Kansas City's giving up 5.7 yards per play, and that's 23rd worst in the NFL, but they're going against the Chargers, who only get 5.1. That's 20th in the NFL, so not too much to see there. Then you look 3rd down conversions. Chargers are struggling there. They're only converting 38.1% of the time on 3rd down, the 16th middle of the pack in the NFL. And Kansas City, they're doing themselves no favors. They're allowing teams to convert 36.11% of the time. That's 19th worst in the NFL. Then you look in the red zone. Chargers, they convert into touchdowns 42.86% of the time. That is literally the 24th worst offense in the NFL. And Kansas City, they're only allowing teams to score a touchdown 41.67% of the time once they reach the red zone. So that will put them at 13th best in the NFL, man. Chargers have been trying to come out and run the ball effectively. Okay, they are literally a top 4 or 5 offense in the run. Okay, they rush the ball 30.3 times a game. They average 152 yards a game. That's 7th best in the NFL, and they average 5 yards a carry. That's 7th best in the NFL. But the thing is, they're going against the defense, who only allows 4.3 yards per carry. That's 12th best in the NFL, and they only allow 113.7 yards per game. That is 13th in the NFL. So let's look over at Kansas City. What have they been doing that has been keeping them above water? And to be honest with you, everything is mediocre. It's middle of the pack. It's average, guys. There's really no true advantage for Kansas City at any point in this game on their offense there, because their run game is 20th in the NFL at 4.1 per rush. They only run for 116.3 yards a game. That's 15th in the NFL. They're going against the number 6 defense against the run that only gives up 91.7 yards per game, and they only allow 3.9 yards per rush. So you ain't gonna get your yards there, and then you ain't gonna get your yards passing on them either, because they only allow 5.8 yards per pass in the NFL. That puts them at 8th. All right, and then they're going against Kansas City that does 6.9, push them at 14th, but that's middle of the pack, guys. Like I said, they're really not doing much besides allowing people to complete passes. That's the one place the Chargers are slipping up. They allow opposing offenses to complete 74.73% of the passes that they go out there and throw. And we all know Patrick Mahomes, he's already going to complete 69.57. That's 10th best in the NFL, going against the 29th worst in the NFL. So, that's definitely an opportunity for Kansas City to take advantage of matriculating the ball down the field. Maybe get you a couple Butker first over 1.5 field goals. You know what I mean? I think that's definitely an opportunity for that in this game. Harrison Butker over 1.5 field goals. Okay, so when you're looking at this team as well, looking at the stat splits, so we know in this current situation that Kansas City scoring 22 points per game and giving up 17. But what we didn't know is that the Chargers are only scoring 22 points per game and giving up 10 in this situation. So advantage kind of does lean towards the Chargers as far as the way the scoreboard should lean. Hence why I think that line has moved. The line just moved again, back down to the 7.5. There's a lot of movement, price movement, guys. You might want to get in and find your way into this game before the bet it's gone. You know what I mean? Because it keeps moving up and down, up and down. It was at 9.5, went to 8, went down to 7.5, went back up to 8. Now it's back down to 7.5, guys. All right, the over/under still set at 40. Okay, and then when you look at how these teams have played just situationally, right? So situationally, so far this season, we all know Kansas City's 3-0, but the Chargers are 2-1, a surprising 2-1 at that. All right, and at home, okay, they are 1-0 right now, and Kansas City, we know they're undefeated on the road or at home. So then let's look against the spread. So on the road, Kansas City's 1-0 against the spread, and as a home team, Chargers are 1-0. Now, as an away favorite, Kansas City's still 1-0, and as a home underdog, all right, which the Chargers haven't been in that situation, but they've been an underdog, and as an underdog, they're 0-1 so far this season. All right, now over/under is concerned. You look over/under, Kansas City's 2 to the over, 1 to the under, and the Chargers are 0 overs. All 3 have gone under. Okay, so expect the Chargers defense to come out here and do their thing, and expect Harbaugh to try to run the ball regardless of what is going on. He's going to try to run the ball. He's going to try to slow the game down, and I wouldn't blame him, considering that Josh Palmer is also still questionable for this game, dealing with some injuries. Okay, so when you're looking at the last 10 times these teams have been out here, Kansas City's 9-1 straight up, 8-2 against the spread, and 4 to the over, 6 to the under in their last 10 games. They really don't win pretty, but they win, guys. And when Patrick Mahomes is given a spread of over 6.5 or 7, all right, he is 1-2 in his last 10 games. As far as covering that spread, guys, 1-2 when it comes to covering spreads larger than 6.5. So just take that with a grain of salt and understand what's going on out there, right? Chargers in their last 10 are 3-7 straight up, 4-6 against the spread, 2 to the over, 8 to the under. So they always trend to the under. And I forgot to tell you, Kansas City does have some matchups coming up. They got the Saints next, San Francisco, and then they got Vegas, guys. Whereas the Chargers in their next 3, they got Denver, Arizona, and the Saints. So it's definitely a harder lineup. Kansas City needs to continue to win in order to keep the momentum, because they do have some hard games coming up, 2 hard games specifically, where they do have an opportunity for an L, even though you can lose any Sunday in this league. Now, head-to-head, Kansas City does run it 8-2. It's against the spread, it's 5-4-1 in favor of the Chargers, and as far as over/under is concerned, it's been 4 to the over, 5 to the under with 1 push, you guys. Last time these teams did meet, it was on January 7th of this year, and Kansas City won 13-12. All right, Kansas City was getting 3 points in that game. All right, and in case you didn't know, Kansas City's on a 5-game win streak against the Chargers. Chargers haven't beat them since 2021, when they beat them 30-24, and they beat them again 38-21. All right, they beat them twice that year. Okay, and back in 2021, earlier the previous year season, and then that season, the 2021 season, guys. So they haven't beat them since then. It's definitely been leaning in Kansas City's favor, as I said before, and Chargers haven't covered against Kansas City since 2022 November. They covered both times that year, but they still haven't covered since 2022. All right, so it's definitely something you would want to pay attention to and understand if you are going to put some money on this game. As far as trends are concerned, Kansas City Chiefs have hit the fourth quarter game total under in 17 of the last 19 games. All right, that's a 66% return on investment. And the Chargers have hit the third quarter game total under in 14 of their last 17 games, 57% return on investment on that one. Now, the Chargers also have hit the second half money line in 3 of their last 5 games. All right, and the Kansas City Chiefs have hit the first half game total over in 14 of their last 22 games, guys. The Kansas City Chiefs have also hit the second quarter game total over in 11 of their last 19 games, and the Los Angeles Chargers have hit the second quarter game total over in 11 of their last 18 games. One of the last things you want to look at when you're understanding these teams and this game and why Kansas City has an opportunity to win it. Well, we got to know that the Chiefs have won each of their last 13 games played on the West Coast. DJ Chark Jr.'s team has lost each of its 7 previous games with him playing against Justin Reed. Now, he is going to be out this game, so maybe that might help their luck on that one. The Chiefs have covered the spread in each of their last 8 Sunday games against teams that held a winning record. The Chargers have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 6 Sunday games against teams that held a winning record. And the Chiefs have scored the first touchdown in each of their last 4 Week 4 games. The Chargers also have won the first quarter in each of their last 4 games as heavy underdogs of 7+ points. And the Chargers have lost the first half in each of their last 6 games in California, guys. All right, so remember, the Chargers rank 31st in passing per game. All right, with 125.7 yards. They're not letting Justin Herbert sling it. Chargers are tied for second in the NFL for fumbles. The Chiefs are tied for first in 4th down percentage, and the Chiefs rank tied for first in the NFL for third quarter win percentage, guys. So on paper, this isn't an ideal spot for the Chargers. With Derwin James suspended, Herbert left the game in a walking boot. Not expecting him to play. And if he's not playing, that means Taylor Heineke's out there, and he would start for the Chargers at quarterback. And with that being said, the Chargers will have a long history of playing the Chiefs tough, guys. Like, regardless of what happens, they do like to play this team tough. When it was at 9.5, I could see the 9.5, regardless of who's out there. Heck, it's moved again. It's at 8. Okay, so like I'm telling y'all, if you can get in where you get in, then get in where you fit in. Okay, if Tyler Heineke ends up playing, that's why this line's going to end up skyrocketing. Okay, if Tyler Heineke's playing, you can get him plus like 10, something like that. Then Harbaugh should be able to keep them in the game just by the manner of way he's going to coach the game. All right, but yeah, outside of that, man, I don't really know which way to go. Besides, most likely the under. I do like the under 40. Okay, and if you get the Chiefs at a decent number, like anything under 5 or whatever, if you want to play Chiefs money line, that's cool. If I was going to play, it would definitely have to be with the points, and it would have to be like buying some points for the Chargers. But I definitely like the under, and Harrison Butker, 1.5, over 1.5 field goals, lock that in. That's gonna come through, guys. All right, but I don't know. Please, I hope this information helps you. Have a blessed day. Stay safe. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. See you at the window. Peace.